love Orbs casting. I've actually been watching the ESV weeklies and the Stars War things, and I actually really love Orbs casting, so I feel bad. Oh god. Anyway, it looks like it's going to be BByong coming out for CJ, Terran player, and he's going to be playing a TVT against somebody, so it looks like we're going to get another mirror matchup here. Let's see how he does. BByong. Oops. I accidentally typed BByong on the overlay. I don't know if that's some kind of weird Freudian slip or something. Possibly. Anyway, apparently it's fantasy. Is it? Is it? Is it? The terrorist? Oh, it is indeed fantasy. Gonna play some StarCraft 2. Oh my god, does he even... I wonder if he knows how to use bio. Guys, okay, so for anyone who doesn't know, in Brood War, Fantasy was notoriously bad at medic marine control. Because, like, so in Brood War, like, you can mech in TVT and TVP, like, that's a standard. But in TVZ, the standard was kind of to go bio, at least in the early and mid game, and then do like a mech switch. Like, you can go mech from the beginning, but I think generally people consider going bio to be a little bit stronger. Now, to be fair, you can still go mech in StarCraft 2 TVT, of course. We actually saw a pretty cool game yesterday between, what was it, Light and... I can't remember. Light and... who was it? Some Terran, I don't know. But yeah, it was Turn, Light against Turn, where Turn went for pure bio and Light went for pure mech. And, spoiler alert, Light won the game. And... okay, we're back. Whew. So yeah, I wonder if Fantasy's gonna can just like try to keep going mech, or if he actually knows how to use bio in StarCraft 2. We shall see. You know, using bio is definitely a little bit easier in StarCraft 2, considering you can like group your medics, like your Marines and Marauders and Medivacs all together, and you can still stim and whatnot. Like in Brood War, if you have medic Marine, if you have a medic in the same control group as Marines, you can't stim. It just doesn't let you stim anymore, which is so annoying. Like, that's why I could never play bio, because you basically have to split your control groups between Marines and medics. It's so annoying. Anyway, looks like what's his face? BByong spawned as the red Terran at the top. Fantasy will be the blue Terran at the bottom. Looks like this is going to rally one SCV over to the ramp to build that wall in. What's up, white guy? Dude, that guy looks kind of like, what's his face? Michael J. Fox. I don't know, maybe it's just me. Anyway, looks like Wallin at the top of the ramp for both players. Standard stuff. It's actually interesting. I was thinking about this the other day, which is how it's funny that in Brood War TVT, it's actually quite uncommon to wall in, whereas in SE2, it's quite common to wall in, even though, like, I don't really see why, because, you know, you still have Marines, you still have all those ranged units. Like Terran in StarCraft 2 is still, you know, primarily as range-based units. Like, you're not walling in against some melee unit in the early game, so it's quite curious to me that they still do wall-ins commonly. I don't know if that's something that'll change eventually, or... I mean, the thing, it's still good because, you know, you prevent Hellion run-ins and you can get rid of SCV scouts and whatnot, but it's just still interesting to me. I wonder if, you know, if we start seeing more early game aggression in TVT, people might stop walling in. That is, in fact, you know what? I'm gonna go like Artosis style and make a metagame prediction and say that people are gonna stop walling in eventually. Even if it takes like 10 years, it'll be fine. I'll be right eventually. Anyway, looks like gas first from Fantasy. No surprise there. Mr. Mech doing his thing. Although, let's see what he actually does. Is he gonna... oh, is that a factory? I can't actually see because the friggin' overlay on the bottom, but I'm pretty sure that's a factory. And yeah, it looks like on the production tab it is a factory. Meanwhile, we actually have Reaper first from, from BByong. Now, we saw something like this in a TVP yesterday between The Rock and some Protoss. Can't remember who, but I know it was The Rock because he went for like a fast Reaper and like did absolutely nothing with it. He just sat at the top of his ramp with this Reaper and then just it died to a Stalker and then that was it. So hopefully, hopefully, what's his face? I keep forgetting. BByong does something more useful with that Reaper. Meanwhile, it is going to be a tech lab here. Is he going to go for Banshees? I think he's going to go for Banshees. It's probably a starport. Yeah, it looks like it is a starport. So he has hidden his factory outside his base. He's going to make a Hellion for that. Probably just poke around a bit, do some scouting. And is actually going for a fast Banshee. Now this Reaper though is going to be able to jump up here into the main base and see what's going on, so that's going to be quite nice for BByong. He's going to know exactly what's going on, and there we go. Reaper jumping in, and oh, he's going to take down the first Marine. He might actually be able to kill the SCV and making this starport. That's going to be super annoying, and he does in fact kill that SCV, but the first Hellion comes in and roasts the Reaper. But wow, that was an absolutely worthwhile. I think that's the word I'm looking for. That was an absolutely worthwhile Reaper for BByong. So let's see how he reacts to this this fast Banshee. Now the thing is, Fantasy didn't take his second gas, so it's most likely not going to be Cloak. In fact, I just don't think he could afford Cloak even if he wanted to. So it is just going to be just one port, you know, vanilla Banshees, I guess. What do you call a non-cloaked Banshee? I guess you just call it a non-cloaked Banshee. Well, that's boring. And looks like we're actually having continued Reaper production along with Reaper's speed for oh my god, what's his name? BByong. I need to think of a nickname for him or something. Byong? BB? I call him BB. Bieber turn. That's what I'll call him because he got such a friggin' annoying name. Anyway, he's going for Reapers with speed along with Hellions. This is really, really curious. Mass Reaper TVT for the win. Looks like someone's saying it's probably just going to be a Reaper Hellion drop into the main base. Could be good, could be good. I actually saw Boxer do something very interesting like this, although that was a while ago, where he went mass Reaper Hellion and he ran the Reapers into the main base and then had the Hellions waiting at the ramp so that when the SCVs ran away, he would just roast them all with the Hellions. I think he lost the game, but it was still quite an interesting idea. I think it was something like that, or maybe it was the other way around. Maybe he dropped the Hellions and had the Reapers waiting or something. I can't remember. Anyway, it looks like Sayle wall here at the front for Fantasy. So he's got his first Viking out. Looks like, wait, did he actually switch it back? Did he actually just put the starport back or take the starport off the tech lab? I think he did. And whoa, hello. Yeah, it looks like Fantasy only makes one Banshee and then switches the tech lab back to the barracks and is using a starport just to make Vikings slash a medevac if he wants to. And oh, someone is telling me actually that you're supposed to only pronounce a single B, even though it says BByong. Apparently, double consonant in Korean means emphasis. So instead of BByong, I just have to say the one B really loudly. Really, I don't know, like Byong. I'll just say it with emphasis. Fantasy versus Byong. Or maybe you have to be like BByong. BByong. I don't know. Maybe I really should learn Korean just so I can actually even just say people's names. It's so easy for the Korean commentators too, because they just say the Korean names. They don't actually say their IDs. In the meantime, Comsat going down in the main base, seeing what's going on. What's his face? Byong actually went for a Banshee as well, but there's already Vikings out. I'm pretty sure he doesn't have Cloak, so that's just not going to do anything. Lol. I'm so confused. Why did he do that? Wait, is his Cloak on the way? Did it just not finish? Oh, his Cloak wasn't finished yet. Oh god, he went in 2 seconds too early. I was going to say, I'm fairly certain he saw that there were Vikings out, so it doesn't make sense to send the Banshee in without Cloak. And he did, in fact, go in just literally seconds too early. Meanwhile, Judy's Marines getting roasted in the middle of the map. Hellions and Reapers pretty good against Marines, but those siege tanks gonna do some nice damage there. Hellions and Reapers not so good against siege tanks. In the meantime, both players have their natural expansions. The supplies are also almost dead even. 54 against 53 it looks like. And looks like a Cloak Banshee going in now to the main base. Where are the Vikings of Fantasy? Fantasy, where your Vikings at, bro? The Vikings, he's not even pulling the SCVs. Okay, now he pulls the SCVs. 4 kills already on that Reaper, or sorry, Banshee rather. 5 kills. And there's the scan. Can he get any more kills? Is he going to escape? Oh, I think he's going to get away. No! the last volley from the Vikings managed to take out that Cloak Banshee. Meanwhile, the second Banshee, though, doing damage to these Siege Tanks at the front. BByong doing a great job with his Banshee harass, doing a lot more damage than Fantasy did, even though Fantasy was the one who went for the faster Banshees. But it looks like the Vikings might get the second one. Nope. They're at least going to save the Siege Tank, though. I wonder if he should bring an SCV to repair that tank. It's pretty deep in the red. So it looks like 7 workers killed. 7 of Fantasy's worker killed by BByong. And a few extra units as well. But otherwise, pretty close. Both players, it looks like Fantasy has 32 SCVs against the 34 of BByong. Almost the same. And it looks like Fantasy now, the one doing the Banshee harass, using his Vikings to cover his Banshee against, well, the other Banshee. Wait, no, that doesn't make any sense. Banshees can't shoot other Banshees, but oh my god, Fantasy not paying attention, just losing his Banshee to those Marines. The Siege Tanks on the bottom do get some revenge there, but I think that was a bit of a mistake. In the meantime, sieging the barracks from the low ground there, that's going to be quite annoying for BByong, but he is doing a counterattack with the Banshee, and it looks like, yep, a couple of SCVs were brought forward to help repair this. Meanwhile, one of the Vikings does get taken down, but still keeping that other Viking alive. That's going to be very crucial to actually keep that last Viking alive, because that's now the only unit that's spotting for him on the high ground. If he loses that, he's going to have to use Comsats to check up there, and looks like, whoa, Fantasy actually loading up everything into the medevac. I don't know if that was intentional or not. That might have been a misclick. He loaded up 8 Marines into a medevac as soon as those units came down to engage. But it looks like now he's moving in. He's going to take down the Siege Tanks. The Marine Stim are taking down a bunch of SCVs. It looks like, even though BByong was doing a good job with the Banshee harass, he just didn't have enough ground units to keep his base alive. And now these Marines are going to town on the natural. I think he's going to lose his natural command center. But it looks like the Banshee counterattack is doing a decent job as well. But I think this is going to be game over for BByong, though. He's definitely going to lose that orbital. And these Banshees, I mean, even though they're doing a good job, there's now a few Marines chilling inside the main mineral line there, so he's not going to do too much more. He's also going to get a free Banshee here. Mistake from BByong, losing one of the Banshees, unable to multitask both fronts, but it looks like at least this Banshee's managed to kill most of these Marines, but Fantasy making Marines in double time, and yeah, that Banshee does go down. Meanwhile, it looks like Fantasy just going to back up a little bit here. Nope, he's actually just repositioning, going to go towards the ramp. Scan goes down. There are 2 Siege Tanks though at the top there, so I don't think Fantasy needs to press the issue. He's already killed the command center, so he can just go away now and like chill on his 2 bases. Yeah, it looks like BByong just gonna rebuild his natural right now, but man, he is not in the best shape. Not at all in a happy place. There's the SKT coach looking happy. Because of course they are in a must-win situation, so even if Fantasy wins this game, they still need to win the next game to take the SC2 best of 3, and then after that there's still the ace match. So yeah, hopefully we get to see some more cool StarCraft 2 play from SKT. Meanwhile, it looks like we're gonna do this low ground siege into elevator. Whoa, moving a little bit too closely, or wait, too closely? Moving a little bit too close to the siege tanks of BByong here. I think Fantasy might have been better off going on the right side there. Like you can see, he's kind of moving in the middle. If he went right to the right edge there of the main, I think that would have been a lot more effective. But at least he does have 4 Marines still in the main base. Gonna start taking down this starport. Well, at least one Banshee's gonna get out. Siege tank's moving up, and yet another Banshee going out to counterattack. It's been non-stop Banshee production for BByong here. Just doing constant harass, doing a really good job, and he does need to do some serious damage now, considering he lost his natural command center. And here we go, moving into the natural, no defense here for Fantasy. I wish he would just get like an engineering bay and 1 turret in each mineral line. That would be so helpful against these Cloak Banshees. Look, he's going to use a scan now, but I think it doesn't even matter. The Marines might get taken out anyway. No, it looks like Stim Marines are pretty good, but the Banshee does survive. The Banshee does survive, so not only did he lose all the Marines, but that was a wasted Comsat as well. I keep calling it Comsats, but they're not actually Comsats in StarCraft 2, are they? They're just scans from an orbital. You don't actually have Comsat stations. Maybe I should stop that. That might be a little bit confusing. It's actually confusing me, even though I'm the one saying it. Anyway, looks like the natural has been retaken, just now being made into an orbital again. And wow, Banshees continue to do damage here. And it's so funny because, what's his face? BByong actually still ahead on the SCV count. Looks like 41 against I think that's 35 for Fantasy. So even though Fantasy's had this natural expansion, he's been really hurt by these Banshees. Supply count's also very, very close. 85 I think against 80, 83, 80. I don't know, something like that. And both players looks like they're just opting to go for the standard Marine tank composition. Although obviously BByong going for spending a lot of his money on the Banshees as well. Looks like one random Banshee getting taken down there. Another red health Banshee just waiting to regenerate some energy so he can cloak in and go into the main base once again. And it looks like Fantasy rather is just going to rely on good... Oh no, he does have a turret in the mineral line. Okay, I was going to say, it looks like otherwise it just looks like he might have been skimping on the turrets to just, you know, make good use of Vikings and scans to take down the Banshees. But no, he does have turrets now. I think it's a good idea. And it looks like Scan at the front, Fantasy wants to start moving in here. He's got to be a little bit careful how he does this. Might siege one tank there on the low ground and kind of sneak around the edge. I'm not quite sure how far the siege tanks reach. Looks like they do reach. Oh man, the siege tanks actually have range to the edge, but they had no vision there. Of course, siege tanks can shoot farther than they can see. So I think that was a big mistake there by BByong not to have any spotting there. So actually, Fantasy now going to move up here to the natural, going to siege up. Oh man, these tanks are going to do a lot of damage, but a lot of the Marines were taken out though, so those tanks don't have much to help buffer for them, but it doesn't even matter. Oh, looks like one tank was too close, gonna get taken down there. Oh, are these tanks in range of each other? It looks like they're barely not, but there's one Banshee there, gonna be able to start picking off these siege tanks, and the Marines I don't think can even run in, but no, the Vikings come in. I was gonna say the Marines can't go in because the siege tanks of BByong would actually take them out, but the Vikings can certainly do a lot, but he's gonna need another comsat, and he does. Is he gonna lose the last siege tank? The tank goes down, but so does the Banshee, and BByong is unable to mine from his natural expansion. It looks like, whoa, a bit of a misrally or misclick from Fantasy, sending a bunch of reinforcements over to that third base rather than to the natural here, and that's going to cost him. He's going to lose the siege position at BByong's natural, just going to retreat with his medevacs and his Vikings, but he still has a small ground force here at the bottom. He's going to try and lift into the main base. Fantasy just keeping on the pressure here. A very active game from both players. BByong constantly doing Banshee harass, and Fantasy constantly being aggressive on the ground. Very, very intense game. And still quite even, 73 supply against 74. I mean, you know, BByong's been taking a lot of economic damage, but he's been dishing out quite a bit as well. And I think it's still quite an even game, even though it looks like Fantasy's been doing, you know, more aggression, more damage. Those Banshees, man, they're just ridiculously good. So, well, I guess we'll see. I think both players are stabilizing now. They both have decent siege tank counts, so it's going to be very, very difficult now for Fantasy to do any damage on the ground with all those siege tanks in position for BByong. Looks like, yeah, he's just going to take his third, and oh, Banshee manages to get away. And looks like, wow, third command center actually was planted first for BByong, although he made it in his natural, whereas Fantasy's just putting his third command center directly at his third. So I think that's basically going to even out in terms of the expansion timing. You know, BByong's going to just have to lose that extra time when he floats it over to his third, whenever he decides to take it. It's going to be interesting when he decides that it's safe enough to move out. Because actually, as we saw in Light versus Roro in that Bio versus Mech game, Light got his third command center way faster than Roro, but because he was going for Mech and Roro was being aggressive, he actually couldn't float his command center out for quite a long time. But you know, since both players here are just going for the standard Marine tank Bio Mech play, I don't think that'll be as much of an issue in this game. Nice little tank spread along the main there, and Banshee continues to do damage. If you can get that SCV, that'll be quite nice. Gonna delay the command center a little bit, and oh, can he get it? Yes, he is gonna get it because the SCV walks to the wrong side of the command center. But there's a second one there that can continue production. Meanwhile, the Vikings coming back to take this guy out, and looks like Fantasy taking advantage of the fact that he still somewhat has map control to just preemptively break down these back rocks at BByong's third. God, I keep wanting to call him BByong, but apparently it's just BByong with emphasis on the B. BByong. We should just like make up one of those rapper nicknames for him. We should just call him like B-Dog or something, you know? That's like serious emphasis on the B. Alright, so looks like B-Dog is going for an 8 Marine drop here into the main base of Fantasy. And Fantasy, most of his units are out on the map. He has a few Vikings patrolling around, but those are going to be good against Banshees and not so much against a medevac drop here. Oh man, this could do a lot of damage. I think Fantasy has actually just rallied everything to the front, so this is a really nice choice by B-Dog to go in for the drop. And here we go, the 8 Marines dropping in. How much damage can they do? Gonna probably go for some SCVs first, and then when the SCVs run away, maybe go for some of these add-ons on the buildings, get some of these tech labs. And oh, he might even get a free siege tank here. Oh, the siege tank! I think he's gonna get it. There's another stim here, and yeah, he's gonna get a free siege tank as we buffer into siege tank death. A few SCVs coming off here for I don't even know why they even bothered to attack there. It looks like he's actually just gonna run down to the natural to try and kill as many SCVs as possible. Not gonna bother going for those add-ons. And whoa, moving in here. He's Fantasy deciding to counterattack here. Siege up at the main. Oh my god, he's just lost all his SCVs. Fantasy, I think, has lost almost every single SCV that he owns. This counterattack actually has to do massive damage, or he's just going to be way, way behind, but it looks like it's not going to. Nice tank positions for Byong in his main base. This is not going to do it for Fantasy. Oh my goodness, one single marine drop, and I think Fantasy just lost the game. He was being the aggressor all game long, and just suddenly he has no economy. He has a third commander. I think, hopefully at least he had some SCVs at the third commander, but look at that, 72 workers lost. 72 workers lost this game for Fantasy. That is not good. What is he doing? Okay, looks like he's just going to pick up and go home here. Oh my god, Fantasy. That is so bad. I hope it stops lagging. And now the Banshee's going to start attacking. Where are the Marines, man? Unload the Marines! Save the tanks! Save them! Okay, looks like it's fine. And he's looking to load up again. What is he actually doing with these medevacs? I think he's just trying to get them ready in case he wants to go for a big drop or something. Looks like third commander are just now going out for Byong. So, you know, much later than Fantasy's third, but after killing 72 SCVs, I don't think that really matters. I don't think it matters. Oh man, poor Fantasy. He was like doing such a good job. It's like, oh, 8 Marines. Anyway, oh man, why is he not unloading? Unload your Marines! Oh my god, Fantasy getting caught with like all of his Marines in medevacs. But fortunately for him though, it looks like there were not enough Marines with the army of Byong. Byong's siege tanks completely undefended here. Oh my goodness, Fantasy going in for a big counterattack, killing so many siege tanks. Mistake after mistake from both of these players, but it looks like with the SCVs coming off the line, it might be enough here. I'm not sure. A lot of Marines out now for Fantasy. The tank's not sieged up, and it looks like Byong will be okay here with the help of his SCVs. I think Fantasy should load up into the medevacs and just run away right now, but no, it looks like he's just going to fight to the last man. And actually, oh, well, 3 Marines and a medevac against 5 Marines. I'm not sure actually who wins that one. Pretty sure the 5 Marines do, but anyway, he's just going to chill here for a little bit and just give up that last medevac. Oh, yeah, he's going to give it up. Now, it looks like the worker count's 21. Actually, wait a minute, I think Fantasy still had on workers. If that's the unit tab at the top left, yeah, that is. And it looks like Fantasy going into the third base with the Marines, killing a lot of SCVs, but Byong's actually down to 14 workers, and Fantasy has 34. Even though Fantasy lost 72 workers in that drop, he still has double the worker count of Byong, which is absolutely ridiculous, and he's going to kill this orbital command. The Marines is doing some weird moonwalking dance there to try and kill it. But Fantasy is somehow still way ahead, despite I don't even know if I should call him a mistake for him to have taken all that damage from the drop. I think it's partly his bad play and partly just unfortunate that he had all his units were already out on the map. But this is absolutely ridiculous. I cannot believe Fantasy's winning this game right now. I thought that drop had actually just killed him completely, but now he's in a good position. But I hesitate to call the game either way because, as we've seen, it's not over till the fat lady sings, and there isn't even a fat lady around, so yeah, it's just never going to be over. It's especially never over with Fantasy. I mean, guys, it's Fantasy, right? It's like, that's where Fantasy GG timing comes from, you know? This is Fantasy. So he's not going to leave the game, and Byong's not going to leave the game. So yeah, it's going to be good. It's going to be good. Meanwhile, another 8 Marine drop rather. An 8 medevac drop. He has loaded up 8 medevacs into a medevac, and he's going to be dropping them on the mineral line. He's got some medevac inception going on right now. But no, he's going to be 8 Marines. He's going to try and repeat his earlier success. Looks like we're having a bit of serious buffering going on here. I do apologize. Hopefully it clears up soon. Don't really know what I can do about that. Anyway, looks like here we go, running into the third base and buffer into no SCVs. Come on, do it, do it. Looks like the medevac getting a little bit too close to the turret there. Oh, barely surviving. Then the turret gets taken out. Looks like he's actually just going to fly away now. He's got to be a little bit careful. I don't know if there's any Vikings left on the map, but that is a very low health medevac to be floating in. Like if I was those Marines, I'd be very nervous to be in that medevac. That's like one of those rickety, like super small planes that only takes 4 passengers, and then you get in and like it starts flying and like it's all like shaking and rattling and stuff, and you're just like, are we actually gonna live? And the pilot's like, oh yeah, it'll be fine, but it's just really, really scary. Anyway, it looks like the counter drop in the main base. Actually, Byong, for whatever reason, his main base no longer exists. I don't know what just happened, but but his base is no longer there, and he's going for a huge counterattack here. Fantasy has 3 siege tanks in position though, but so many more units for Byong. Is it going to be enough? The Marines of Fantasy looks like we're a little bit out of position. They're coming back to help out. This is going to be so close, and it looks like Byong is going to come out ahead in the engagement, but does he have enough left over to do serious damage to Fantasy? Because he's actually just lost his entire main base. There's no main base left. And he's going to kill the 3rd command center. The Marines coming off the line. Looks like the double medevac counter drop is coming back to help defend. Fantasy knows he just needs to defend his own main, but he's losing so many SCVs. There have been so many worker kills this game. It's ridiculous. Look at that. Oh my god, please show us the workers lost tab, please. OGN observers, show us the workers lost, and also stop lagging, if you will. But it looks like the Marines are not quite close to the siege tanks. Fantasy doing a moving drop, doing a carpet bomb over the siege tanks. It looks like, will he be able to clean up the siege tanks? It's gonna be close. It's buffering, and the tanks do go down. It's 1 Marine against 2. This is down to like micro wars here. It's turned into a micro UMS. And it's actually down to like whose medevacs run out of energy first, and it looks like Byong's medevacs actually ran out of energy there. So that's not ideal. I don't know who's ahead right now. It's 22 SCVs against 28. Guys, Byong actually has more SCVs again. Byong has 28 SCVs and Fantasy has 22, when just now he had like 15 against 35. What is this game? Like, what is going on here? Oh man, these players are like both trying as hard as they can to lose SCVs. But it looks like Fantasy. Fantasy gonna take it. He's gonna grab some free medevacs. Oh, nice. Fantasy. Although the supplies are still like 55 against 55. I'm pretty sure that's like dead even supply. What a game, guys. What a game. Anyway, looks like Fantasy. He's got both gases at his 3rd. He's not gonna mind them though. Of course, going to, you know, need some of those extra minerals to replace his SCVs and get some more Marines. But it looks like he's moving in here. I'm not sure that's the best idea. There are siege tanks in position. He's moving onto the high ground. The high ground really doesn't do anything when you have vision from the medevacs and from the comp stats. It looks like it's now Marine, medevac versus Marine, medevac, no tanks to speak of here. Fantasy just being aggressive with a super small group of units. I'm really sorry about this lag, guys. I didn't touch anything. It just started not working. Or I guess it just stopped working. It started not working. That's a great way to put it. Ooh, doing some fancy starter step micro is Fantasy, and looks like he's going to kill a lot of SCVs here, and it looks like he's going to take the engagement. He's moving in, takes down the siege tank, takes down the Marines. He can now go kill the remaining SCVs there. It looks like Byong has decided it's a good time to make another Banshee. I'm not sure why he decided that, considering Marines are pretty good against Banshees. But anyway, looks like going to be forced to lift this command center. He's definitely going to lose the rest of these SCVs. Look at this! Show us the worker lost tab, for the love of God, man! Show us the workers lost tab. Oh my god, please. Please show us the workers lost tab. Please! Alright, you know what? I'm just going to extrapolate here and say it's like 150 workers lost for both sides. That's probably not even much of an exaggeration. Anyway, Fantasy denying Byong's 3rd. He's got his own 3rd mining. He's moving in now to the natural. This might be it. This might be game over. Is it going to be the deciding attack? I don't know. It looks like the Marines splitting up. Half the group going after the siege tank, half the group going after the Banshee, half the group going after the laggy servers. Or I wish they would, at least. Just shoot the cable that's lagging. Actually, wait, no, don't do that. Then we won't have a stream at all. But anyway, man, can somebody like just get a stim pack for the internet connection or something? Can we just like stim the connection, get double the bandwidth? That'd be sick. Could you imagine? That's like actually such a cool feature. It's like, you know, normally you don't need that much internet, but you know, if you're doing like a stream or something and you suddenly need more internet, just like stim, and then you get like double the bandwidth for 2 hours or something. How useful would that be? Oh my goodness. Although I'm sure people would just abuse it and just like, oh, look at me, I want to download a 10 gig torrent, let me just keep stimming my connection. That's alright, then they just overstim it and then it dies because they don't have enough medevacs. Boom! Taking the analogy to the next level. Anyway, another Banshee pops out, gonna get instantly sniped here. And so Byong's got no natural, he's got no 3rd base, he's got like almost no main, and GG! Fantasy taking a ridiculously back and forth game there, wow. And showing that, you know, he actually has decent Marine control, at least in StarCraft 2. So, Byong, aka B-Dog, looks like that's catching on a little bit. Guys, can we actually make that his nickname? Can you guys just like start referring to him as B-Dog, like in the live report threads and stuff? How awesome would that be? Byong, forever known as B-Dog, because I was trolling one day on a stream. B-Dog and Greasy Toss for the win. Anyway, apparently I'm a bit behind the HD stream. I'm gonna try and refresh the stream. Hopefully that'll improve things as well. I guess I'll just like stop and start it. Actually, I'll wait till it goes to commercial, and then I can do that.